Engineering effective prompts for college research requires a strategic and intentional approach. Instead of treating AI like a simple search engine, think of it as a research assistant that needs very clear and detailed instructions. You must provide context, be specific, and use an iterative process to refine your results. An AI prompt is a specific instruction or input provided by a user, that's you, to an artificial intelligence model, particularly a large language model, LLM, to guide it to perform a particular task or generate a desired output. We are all used to search prompts in Google or Edge, so this isn't new territory. It is the fundamental way humans communicate with and direct AI systems. But remember, search engines only retrieve information. AI prompts are doing much more than retrieve. It is thinking about what you asked it to find. The search bar in AI is actually called a context window. Hirsch, 2024. So how does an AI prompt work? The process of an AI model generating a response from a prompt involves several key steps. The context window, or context length, is the maximum number of tokens, units of text, numbers, etc., that a large language model can process and remember when generating a response. Bundari, et al. 2023. It encompasses all of the input prompt, any previous conversation history included, and the tokens generated as the output. It is basically the model's working memory and directly influences its ability to understand long-range dependencies, maintain conversational coherence, and process lengthy documents. Sun, et al. 2024. Sometimes you will need to create an entirely new prompt if there's too much information. It's like an artist painting. Add 1 or 2 colors and decide to do more. Add more colors. Evaluate. Soon, you have overpainted, and all the colors have mixed to form an incoherent blob gray. Let's look at some terms to understand for writing prompts. Tokenization. The AI first breaks down the user's prompt into smaller units called tokens. Friedman, 2023. These are not just whole words, but can be parts of words, or even punctuation and numbers. This is the format the model uses to process language. The term token, in the context of artificial intelligence, particularly in large language models, LLMs, and natural language processing, NLP, refers to the fundamental unit of text that the model processes. It is the result of a pre-processing step called tokenization. Friedman, 2023. Contextual understanding. The AI model then analyzes the relationships between these tokens. It uses its vast training data to understand the syntax, grammar, and overall intent behind the prompt. Remember that AI is trained on data sets, and that's where we'll look to fulfill your prompt. Many people have contributed to data sets and not even realized it. Xiong, 2024. This is one of those ethics issues we will explore later. However, I had several friends submit their pictures to an AI engine advertising on Instagram that would turn you into a superhero, a warrior, a macho cowboy, a suave spy, etc. This company was gathering photos to refine their AI dataset. Again, Xiong, 2024. AI doesn't understand in the human sense, but identifies patterns and connections learned from the billions of data points it was trained on. Gozia, et al. 2020. Inference and generation. Based on the patterns and relationships it has identified, the model generates a response, one token at a time. Villicati, 2025. It predicts the most statistically probable next token, given the previous tokens in the prompt and the tokens it has already generated. This process continues until the response is complete, and the model has inferred the most appropriate output based on the prompt's instructions. Dauphin and Seifert, 2025. Prompt engineering. The quality of the output is heavily dependent on the quality of the prompt. Prompt engineering is the process of crafting and optimizing prompts to get the most accurate, relevant, and useful responses from AI. This can involve providing specific instructions, context, examples, and constraints. Sun, et al. 2024. AI starts to function incorrectly when its input exceeds the context window, which is the model's memory limit. This is why context windows are much bigger than a search engine's search field. Context window limits are measured in tokens, not words or characters, as we have just discussed. The precise point of failure isn't a hard number, but things may start to break down long before the maximum token limit is reached. This may require you to start new searches, performing shorter, more directed prompts, because your results will start being that blog gray we talked about. The lost in the middle effect. Research has consistently shown that the performance of LLMs degrade as the prompt length increases, even when it's well within the model's token limit. This phenomenon is often referred to as the lost in the middle effect, LU, et al. 2024. How it works. AI models pay the most attention to information at the beginning and end of a long prompt. Information placed in the middle is often given less weight, leading to a significant drop in accuracy for tasks that require a comprehensive understanding of the entire input. Multiple short prompts may be more productive than long ones. And I admit this has happened to me quite a bit when I get overenthusiastic about whatever I am researching. I have to slow down, back up, and rethink my approach. Why it matters. Models are usually good for about 100,000 tokens in a prompt. At that point, their ability to reason or answer questions about information in the middle of that text can be significantly compromised. Liu, et al. 2024. Best practices for prompting AI. Be a director, not a user. When you're writing a prompt, you're essentially directing the AI's behavior. Tell the AI what its role is, what its goal is, and who its audience is. For example, instead of asking, "Tell me about solar power," direct it with a personal, specific focus. What is the effect of solar power on global warming? Provide peer-reviewed references and summaries in APA 7th edition style. You need to give your prompt guardrails so it stays focused and in scope. This level of detail helps AI tailor the response to your needs, resulting in a more accurate and relevant output. A car, 2023. There's an old term you may know, GIGO, which literally means garbage in, garbage out. Geiger, et al., 2021. Meaning, if you put garbage in your prompt, don't be surprised if you get garbage as a result. Provide context and constraints. To get the most accurate response, give AI a clear framework. As the previous example demonstrates, a good prompt should define the task. What do you want the AI to do? Do you want AI to summarize, compare, brainstorm, create an outline, create a method, or any other specific tasks? Remember, AI needs guardrails to stay in its lane. Give it specific commands. Ironically, many professors, instructors, and administrators point to words like this as evidence that a student used AI nefariously or innocently. My emphasis in their writing, Crawley, 2024. And as a composition and rhetoric professor for over 20 years who has taught basic writers, as well as college-level writers and beyond, these are the very words we encourage students to use to expand their vocabularies and improve their writing. This hypocritical trend is quite bothersome. We encourage students to use better words, and now we are telling them that using better words makes them suspicious that they really aren't growing and learning, but cheating. I digress, and this will be covered in depth in the topic of ethics. As an example, though, a few prompt chains using Gemini produce the following. Words English instructors used to encourage students to use that are now used to expose AI misuse or cheating. Google, 2025. Discusses, explores, mentions, outlines, reports, proposes, hypothesizes, implements, asserts, contends, argues, emphasizes, maintains, corroborates, confirms, acknowledges, refutes, challenges, contradicts, disputes, questions, critiques, analyzes, examines, investigates, scrutinizes, compares, diagnoses, demonstrates, reveals, illustrates, indicates, confirms, uncovers, fabricated, constructed, engineered, devised, adapt, formulated, facilitated, accelerated, alleviated, diminishes, constrains, transforms, occurred, existed, resides, emerged, created, forged, produce, formulate, perceive, inspect, observes, etc. I'm confident the issue is clear, but you can use these words and many others to help formulate strong prompts. To re-emphasize getting the most out of a prompt, let's revisit these important elements. The topic: be as narrow as possible. For example, Pomeranians. That's far too general, although you will get some really cute pictures. Instead, what is the breeding history of Pomeranians, and what are the health issues they face compared with other small dog breeds? Provide valid references. You can ask normal, full questions in your AI prompt. Also, look at the results. They may not be entirely what you were seeking, but you may discover new terms and facts that should encourage you to re-engineer the prompt since you just learned something new. I do this all the time. The format. Specify how you want the output structured, for example, in 5 bullet points, as a table, in a 500-word paragraph. I have demonstrated that in this presentation by including provide peer-reviewed academic references with summaries in APA 7th edition style in my prompts. Remember, though, you still have to critically edit what you get back to make sure it is correct and satisfies the purpose of the research in the first place. The tone. Indicate the desired tone such as formal, academic, concise, etc. Make sure it sounds like you. As a reminder, you are the director, not simply a passive user. You have to edit for language or ask AI to revise it. Does it sound like you? Would you use these words? Or have you learned new words from the process and you wish to use them? Take ownership and agency over the results. The audience. Tailor the response to a specific audience, too. We have discussed audience analysis and purpose in your writing before, and this is no different. The audience is made of stakeholders no matter if they are in the professional realm, a nonprofit, an elementary school, etc. AI can adjust for reading level, too. Is the document you are creating meant for a 3rd grade reading level? 5th, graduate? Appropriate reading level must be considered for documents meant for a broad variety in some communities. Use an iterative and conversational approach. Think of the interaction with AI as a dialogue. Iteration simply means the next try at something after you have learned to improve the first instance. Begin with a slightly more broad prompt and drill down into the return and keep refining it with every iteration. This is called prompt chaining. This multi-step process allows you to guide the AI toward a more sophisticated and useful output, mimicking the process of critical thinking and analysis. Trotman, 2023. I demonstrated this when I was looking for the word list from earlier. That was a prompt chain. I kept modifying and improving the prompt as I got closer to what I was looking for. But you need to be thoughtful and direct, or else you may just end up with bloggery. For example, prompt 1. Summarize the key arguments of the provided text if you are analyzing a specific article or book. Prompt 2. Now, based on that summary, identify the main research gaps. Where are the holes? What did it leave out that you may already know? Prompt 3. Using the identified gaps, propose 3 new research questions that build on the original study. These are not new concepts at all. This is literally the academic writing process I have been teaching my entire career. These same concepts worked back when there were card catalogs in the library, then in databases, and then the internet. This forward progress with AI is not really any different or new. We're pivoting to apply these skills to a new tool. Always verify and fact-check. Generative AI models can have hallucinations, which means they can generate information that sounds really great, but it is factually incorrect or even untrue. Given the wrong conditions and prompts, AI will lie to you. Thesify, 2024. You should never use AI-generated information as a final product without first verifying it. A good example is the paraphrase above about hallucinations. After multiple prompt chaining, this site called Thesify kept coming up. I have never heard of it before. Of course, I was suspicious. I tried some other resources, but Thesify described hallucinations most accurately for my audience, my students. So, I created a prompt to investigate. Who was Thesify? Who owned them? What was their mission and purpose? It turns out they are a highly respected Scandinavian organization made up of scholars, industry professionals, and academics that research AI technology. I used AI to validate what I thought was a suspicious source, and now I visit it to read the research. But I digress. Use AI to find key concepts or search terms, but then use traditional academic databases like JSTOR, Google Scholar, or your university library's database to find and verify the original sources. Summarizing research articles with AI. When using AI to summarize a research article, a good prompt will guide the AI model to focus on the most important parts. Instead of just pasting the text and asking for a summary, tell AI exactly what to look for and what you need. A strong prompt should include the goal. Summarize the key findings and methodology of the scientific paper provided. The key elements. Ensure the summary includes the research question, the hypotheses, the methods used for data collection and analysis, the main results, and the author's conclusions and limitations. The output format. Provide the summary in a concise paragraph, followed by a bullet list of the key findings. This approach ensures you get a summary that is useful for your academic work, not just a generic overview. However, remember to read the original article yourself to ensure you understand it fully and to verify the summary's accuracy. San Jose State University, ND. Remember, that is what critical editing is for. If you need to, watch the critical editing video again as a refresher. Citing AI-generated content, APA 7th edition. As of late 2025, APA 7th edition guidelines recommend that when you use generative AI, you should cite it like personal communications. However, the most recent guidance from the APA style blog also provides a more formal reference format for the tool itself. Reference format for a specific AI chat. Author, the name of the AI developer, OpenAI, Google, or what one you use. Date, the date of the specific chat or interaction. Title, a descriptive title of the chat in italics, followed by generative AI chat in brackets. Source, the name of the AI tool / model and the URL of the chat session. Example, OpenAI, 2025, September 23rd. Best practices for prompt engineering for college research, generative AI chat. ChatGPT. The in-text citation would look something like this. OpenAI, 2025. I used an in-text citation for Gemini in this presentation, and it is also correctly cited in the references if you need to see an example. For general discussions of using AI tools, you can simply refer to the tool and the year of its release. However, if the generated content is crucial to your paper, using the full reference format is the more transparent and ethical approach. APA style, 2025. We will cover the ethics of AI and its implications later. For now, the most important rule is to be transparent with your instructor, professor, and readers about how and why you used AI in your work. I used it here, and I explain my research process as an illustration. I ran into hallucinations, erroneous information I didn't ask for, but I also got new things I never thought of. I chased down all my references beyond AI to make sure they were legit and accurately cited. I'm not asking you to do anything I am not willing to do myself. Many of my prompt returns looked fishy, just like I explained. I tracked them down, and many were AI corporations selling AI products. I rejected those, but not before looking over their websites to see if there were any keywords or terms that were new to me. There were, and it affected the trajectory of this presentation. I tracked down URLs and DOIs to ensure that they were indeed correct, and rejected ones that I thought looked suspicious. A few were dead and went nowhere. That is why you critically edit. Engineering effective prompts for college research requires a strategic and intentional approach. Instead of treating AI like a simple search engine, it is a tool that needs very clear and detailed instructions to be an asset to you. There is much more to prompt engineering, but this should get you through your research papers. Remember, the quality of the output is directly proportional to the quality of your prompt. Remember GIGO? You must provide context, be specific, and use an iterative process to refine your results, or it could end up being just blah gray.